Welcome to Conflicts in Conversation. I'm here with my co-host and my wife,
Myhisha, Myles.
and I'm Charles Myles. And we're just here having a regular conversation today about some of the conflicts we have regarding our conversations.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to tell you about some conflicts we have in our conversations. They're common conflicts like you don't hear me, you didn't understand me, you don't listen, you won't listen.
Whether you didn't say it, I didn't hear you say it, and don't blame me for what I didn't hear you say. These are all, different things, or rather our thought processes about different conflicts we have regarding our conversations. And so our most recent thing happened a few weeks ago, and it's regarding one of our daughters. As we were, my wife came home and said she wanted, regarding some certain things that she did, and as she was telling me about it, she said that, she didn't want me to talk to our daughter about it. She wanted to just keep that between me and her. I didn't hear anything about it. And so what I heard her say to me was, you need to basically talk to your daughter about this, bring this up because we got to solve it. I didn't hear that last portion where she says, well, I want you to keep it to yourself. Now, I'm not the person that's going to just take what she says and just, put her on blast, because when she said let me keep something to myself, that's my goal, is to keep it to myself. And she was right there with me. And what happened was I called my daughter right in the room. It couldn't even been 5 seconds after she was talking to me, and I brought it on my girl. And I didn't think nothing was wrong because I settled it right there with my girl. I wanted to make sure it was good. And then my wife came back. I said, and she told me, I didn't ask you to bring this up with our daughter. And I said, what do you mean you didn't ask me to bring it up? I told you to keep it between us. I'm like, you never said that to me. And because she said, because of my thought process, I never heard her say that. I absolutely brought it up because I really thought she wanted me to solve the problem. So when I went in to solve the problem, I thought I did just fine. But when she came in the room, she got very upset with me about this. And let's pick up your thought process about it.
Okay, so first of all, I was the one that was supposed to talk about this first. I was supposed to give my side. So we're talking about the right thing today simply because I felt that I wasn't heard. And it was more than a feeling because he acted out on the fact that he didn't hear me. I will back up and talk about exactly what happened from my perspective. So this is what happened a few weeks ago. I was in the car. I was ear hustling. I was listening to a conversation I had no business hearing because my daughter was trying to be discreet in the back of the car while I was driving home, pretending to talk to my other daughter in the front seat. Well, when we got home, I spilled all the beans to my husband. I told him all the goodies I heard, and I told him, do not say anything to her. Don't say anything. And he says, okay. So I leave the room, and as soon as I leave the room into the other room, he calls her and says, come in. I need to talk to you right now. Close the door. So I'm like, what the heck? So, of course, I go and barge in. I need to be in part of the conversation. I need to hear what he's about to say. I listen to everything. I don't let on about anything while they're talking until I did.
But this was after the conversation was done. And my point of it, if you came in right when the conversation started, couldn't you have stopped it? It's not my regular behavior just going and do something you didn't ask me to do. And so when you saw me doing what you so-called didn't ask me to do, and I'm only saying so-called because I don't remember that last portion of the conversation. Now, and because of that, I was talking to my daughter. I was there solving the issue. I wasn't trying to exacerbate the issue or make it go longer. I was really just trying to close it out. And so really what the problem was what we had was after the conversation was over. My daughter was good. I thought we were good. And then I come to find out my wife was not good at all. And she was not good because I brought up something she asked me not to bring up. And I was like, oh my God, I feel terrible about it. But I kept going over this over and over in my mind. Like, what do you mean? I'm telling you, I would not have done that because that's not my normal behavior.
Well, that's where the conflict comes in. Because for me, this was not the first time this happened. So I specifically expressed to my husband, Charles, I feel like you did not hear me. I feel like you betrayed me. I feel like
Betrayed. I mean, look at these big words. Come on now. I mean, it was a conversation. Did I feel betrayed? I mean, it hurt. I mean, I was. Why did you stop me? Betrayed? It's like I just wouldn't put you on the corner and sold you off or something.
because the secret was out. It was already out that she had no. Now she obviously knew who was telling the business and who got the business from where. She knew it was me. There was no time for us to try to hide this, conceal it, change it around. None of that. We couldn't even get our bearings together. That was the point. So I gave him my part. He took it, ran with it, ran straight to the person, and exposed me.
Now, was not trying to expose you. I was not trying to put you out there. So I did hear her out, and I apologized. Did I apologize? And the goal was not to exhibit this same behavior again.
Yes.
But then it goes and says, well, you don't listen to me. You're not doing this. I'm like, wait a minute. It was a mistake.
Well, let's fast forward because that didn't happen that day.
Well, hold on, because you did tell me a little bit. You're not hearing me, though.
No, I did tell you that.
You did tell me I'm not hearing you. When you say that I'm not hearing you, say I'm not listening, right? And I'm thinking to myself, even if I made this mistake, I mean, my goal is to definitely hear you. You know, and I don't usually have these kind of failures. When you say don't keep this to yourself, I keep it to myself.
I love
You'll see, you love me. I do have this face a lot.
have those.
Oh, don't do me like that in front of my friends. Like, you know, the goal is not to have this happen though, right? And so I've been working on it, right?
That's my goal.
Okay, and so we apologize and we go and we have a regular day. No problem.
We hug and we get over it and we're having a great day. Our daughter, she's fine with us. She knows how much we love her. We end up feeling like we love each other too, and I'm going to be heard the next time. So let's fast forward. How long was it?
The next day. So we come to the next day. Thought, no, well, this is real. We eat with the next day, right? And so we go to Universal. We have a beautiful day at Universal. We just go into a regular old food place. Matter of fact, we go in and out. So if you West Coast people, you know what in and out is. And so we're going in and out. She's in the passenger. My wife's in the passenger seat, and my youngest daughter is in the back seat. So we all got our orders. No big thing. And so we're getting ready to order. My wife tells me what she wants. Now, remember, she's right next to me. Okay, but she's playing a game on her phone. Okay, while we're in line. No problem playing the game. But as I'm ordering the food.
Wait, can we stop
What?
before that happens? Because that's not the sequence of events.
What's the sequence?
So let's put it in order. We're in the line. Before we get to the person taking our order, Charles asked Myhisha, what's your order? So Myhisha gives it to Charles. Charles says, I would never order that for you. And I said, well, that's the order I want.
But
that's exactly what I want.
But you missed a word there. You said, I want my regular order. And I was like, well, what's your regular order? Right? And she was like, I want this protein burger now because she don't want the bun and stuff like that. But every once in a while she eat the bun, right? And so what she's talking about, when I said I would never order that, I really wouldn't have ordered that because I would have just ordered her a burger with a bun. I wouldn't have ordered it protein style. And so, no, I wouldn't have ordered that for you. So if you had left it up to me, I would have ordered wrong. And that's what I was responding to.
Right. So
okay.
The order that you did say, you said, I said, well, what would you have got me? You said, I would have got you a double, animal style. And I said, no, I just want a protein burger. Protein burger. Not 2, not 3, just 1 burger. So what does he do? I'm thinking he has it because he says, oh, okay. So when he tells me he would have never ordered it, I think that because he wouldn't have ever ordered it, he's taking on what? My order versus his order. The order he would have thought. Because I gave him something different than what he would have done. So thinking that he's going to do the different thing, which is what I'm asking, what does he do?
Let me pick up here, because I know what I said. You sit right next to me. I told the man to give me a protein burger. At least that's what I thought I ordered. Right there, right? And I ordered my food, and I ordered my daughter, she'll order her own food, right? Of course. Now we all got our food. Everybody's doing good. You know, we were on the freeway coming home. I think we all doing good, but about halfway home, somebody knows she had 2 burgers on the thing, right?
And it's a double. Let's just put that out.
Okay, but it's protein style. It's protein style, animal style, right? And I'm like, first oh man, they give you extra burger. So my thought process, just take the burger off. You know, you don't want the extra meat, just take it off.
Is that what you said?
I don't know what I said.
Let's go to what you said.
What did I say?
Because what you're thinking and saying might be two different things.
What did I say?
It has nothing to do with me because I only know what comes out of your mouth, not
Okay.
what's inside of your
Okay,
head.
well, go on.
So what was said to me was, you know what? Next time you make your own order. You tell them what you want. Don't ask me to give your order. Meanwhile, I never asked him. The guy was on his side of the window anyway, on his side of the car. So because I didn't order, it's just too bad.
Well, my point of it was, didn't you hear me say the order? If you heard me say the order, it didn't sound right to you. Okay, we done left this place already. Okay, we coming down the street. I mean, or coming going the freeway, going home. I mean, man, how bad could it be? I mean, so my way to solve it was, you know what? Next time, just leave me out of it, because it's 2 days in a row I done got in trouble for this not hearing, and I right there. How did I miss that? If you were right there next to me, couldn't you have corrected the order? Couldn't you have even helped me to be better? Right? And you know I wasn't trying to get it wrong because we were having a great day. Correct? We're having a great day? Good.
I thought it was a great day until I said, Charles, I feel like you're not hearing me. And then that's when 4th of July happened on April, what was it? Anyway, the point
But
is,
it went down.
it was a whole lot of fireworks that went on in the car because I could have ordered, instead of asking him to order for me, instead of me saying that I don't feel heard, I could have just sucked it up and just not felt heard. So because we had this wonderful conversation after the argument the day before, I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's going to understand how this is connected and this affects me in an adverse way where I'm feeling like you don't care about my feelings. But who was wrong?
What you said, you not hear me. I feel like this is something systemic. I'm like, systemic? You were sitting right next to me.
Who used that word?
I think what I'm just saying. I mean, here we go. 2 days in a row, I'm getting hit about not hearing, but you were right there. And I'm like, how did I miss this? Well, the guy just messed up. Is it a possibility he just put the thing in there wrong?
Is it a possibility you would have said that had it been his mistake?
My point was, you were like so upset so fast, you know, and I'm thinking like, you know what? I can't take all this pressure.
I got upset when you told me.
I can't take all this pressure. I'm like, it's too much.
Myself.
I'm sitting here and I'm trying to do what's right. And the more I try to do right, the more wrong it is. And so in my mind, I'm like, you know what, F this. That's what I thought. That's what I came up with. That was the first thing on my mind. So, you know, of course I didn't say it out loud. I don't think I did. But it's just that's what I felt.
You didn't say that out loud.
But I'm feeling that way because I'm feeling like, you know, it's all on me again. Here it is. It's all on me. It's all on me. I'm causing issues. I'm trying to do the best of my abilities. I'm really trying to help. I'm really trying to solve problems. Like I tried to solve the problem with the oldest girl yesterday. And then, you know, today I'm in here. We're trying to have a great day. And we had a great day. And now all of a sudden, this whole great time is like missed for an extra burger patty. See, that's my mind right there. That's what I'm like, take the burger patty, throw out the window. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care less about that burger patty. But it was bigger than that in her eyes. I'm like, wow, we're making this a mountain. This is so small in my eyes. But she didn't feel it was that way. And so, and I understand, you know, looking back and going over it with you, right, and feel it that way. But at that moment, at that time, you know, when you're getting upset, you know, I feel like, you know, things are just compounding on me. You know, like I had this problem, and now I have this problem. Because if you keep saying, well, I keep doing the same thing, and you feel like I'm doing it over and over again, that means we're not letting go of the problem, right? We're counting the number of times this comes into practice in our lives. And that's not where I want to be. That's not even where I was trying to go. You know, and so when you just, I mean, in the simplest form, I'm like, this is a burger. Right? That's the simplest form of it. But the other side of it, I saw the pain, I saw the hurt on it, but I also was super frustrated. Because I was not trying to do things to be mean or to be vindictive or bad. I was really trying to get it right. Does that make sense? And so, and I guess in looking back at it, when I look over it, you know, look back at it, like from my perspective, I would want you to see I was really trying to do what was good for our family. Even both scenarios where I made mistakes, but, you know, both scenarios where, you know, maybe absolutely I could have missed it. When you say, you know, hey, let's not bring this up with Chris. You know, I could have missed it, you know. And so with the hamburger, could I have, yeah, probably so. You know, I mean, I do see that going back, but in that moment, in that time, I was so frustrated because I just felt like the problem's being compounded, and I'm the one trying to cause the problem. And I was not purposely trying to do that.
So from my perspective, and I do appreciate that, because from my perspective, what was happening is it was the same problem, not being compounded. It was the same problem over and over again, not being addressed, not being corrected, not being acknowledged. Because when I said, Charles, I don't feel like you heard me, instead of saying, you know what, and maybe it was a problem, or maybe the guy heard me wrong. It could have been anything. I was open for any differences. I was open for options.
I didn't know that though.
The problem is.
Let me tell you why I didn't know that. Because when you realized you got mad, you threw that burger in your bag. I knew you were upset when you threw that burger in that bag. I'm like, oh man.
So let's go back to when
but
I threw it in the bag.
I didn't want to address the burger in the bag because I didn't want to make that go bad because still we were calm until this time.
So let's go back to when I threw the burger in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
The burger went in the bag as soon as you told me next time you do your own order. The burger didn't go in the bag when I said, Charles, this is the wrong order. And you said, you just looked at me and you said, well, what did you get? And I said, I got a double. I just wanted a burger. I didn't want the cheese. You said, instead of you saying, you know what, man, that's a mess up. Would you mind taking out that extra burger? You could have just left it at mess up. I didn't care who messed it up. I'm just saying, you know what, this is a problem here. Just hear me. And what you did was you jumped to the conclusion that I'm compiling, I'm making stuff bigger than what it is.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to jump on you. I was disappointed in my burger. Now, we've been in restaurants many times when you order a dozen wings and you count all your wings and they come out with 11 wings and you so hot nobody else at the table can eat. Now, I have a double burger with cheese and I didn't want the cheese nor the extra burger because I'm trying to get rid of these burgers that I've been compiling over the years. So what I did was I wanted to downsize, and the guy just gave me extra, or somebody did. But instead of me being heard, I was basically tossed out on my own and said, well, look, you deal with it yourself next time. And I'm like, dang it, can't you protect me or have my back? Can't you at least hear me? Isn't that what we talked about yesterday? And I said this specifically, I said, Charles, I'm not feeling heard by you again. And that's when you just got really upset with me and told me, you do it yourself. I'm not going to do it for you anymore. I threw the burger in the bag and I was done with the burger. I didn't even touch the burger. The burger went in the trash when I got home. I didn't even bother with it. But the point is, I just felt unheard.
Yeah. So in talking about it and taking that in, just taking her perspective in, help me to look at it differently, because the truth of the matter is I did see it only my way at first. And I realized a lot of times when we're having these conversations, especially when the conversation is not going favorable for me, I'm going to address me because I'm talking about me, but it's not going favorable for me, I tend to get defensive. And the way for me to solve it right now is, when I got defensive, just do it yourself. That'll solve the problem right here. And the truth of the matter, it wasn't necessarily about her doing it herself, things of that nature. It was about her not being heard. So what I had to do was step back, and see, what can I do better to make sure I'm addressing what my wife wants me to address? Because I don't want my wife to feel like she's unheard, or want her to feel like, what she says does not matter. And coming from that place, coming from a place really of love, coming from a place of compassion, because I could see really what it was. I know, yes, it wasn't about the burger. And, when you sit back and really look at, it's way bigger than a burger. I had to sit back and, had that kind of talk within myself, saying, I got to be different than this. I got to make sure I'm taking in what she says to me, and make sure also I have enough compassion where, or make sure I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt that what she says to me, she said to me. My wife is a good person. My wife she's very explanatory in a lot of areas. And so I probably did miss. But also be man enough to say, you know what, let's figure out how to make this better and make sure I hear her. And then what I've been doing lately is to make sure I didn't repeat. Okay, well, you said this right here, so let me make sure I'll repeat it out loud to her. Then once we're on the same page, then I'll just go forward. And that's really has helped me to make sure I'm kind of, hearing her the right way and things of that nature. Because I do realize when I'm moving fast, I will end her sentences. And when I simply mean by that, she'll say something to me, but I'll put something extra or take something away from it because I already think I got the gist of what she says. And every time I think I got the gist of what she says, a lot of times I miss a piece there. And they could be one of the most important pieces of our conversation. So that's something that that I'm working on not doing, because I want to make sure I hear her out right, hear what she has to say regarding this circumstance, and not just assume that I've heard her correctly in certain areas. I hope that makes sense to you.
So for me, yes, and it made sense to me, and I appreciate that. Because when we got home, later on, what he did do was help me to understand the part I was playing in the wrong that happened. And so, because usually when there's a conversation and then it becomes an argument, I'm one of those people who I really do believe that there's something that I could do better, even if I do believe I'm right, which is most of the time I believe I'm right. So, with that being said, I do feel like I can still improve whatever areas I need to improve. So, when we had the conversation later on, I let him know from my perspective that, Charles, I did feel unheard. And I feel like it is connected. It's not doubled up. It's just connected. It's the same thing happening just in a different category or different conversation, right? And so with that, it didn't mean that you were bad. It didn't mean that you were intentionally wrong. It just meant that there's somewhere that we're breaking down in communication. We have to figure this out, because I don't like the way I feel when I feel unheard by somebody that I want to be heard by. The one person on the planet that means the world to me, that I have their ear, will be my husband. And so I want to feel significant enough for my husband to take what I'm saying, all of it, and do something with it. Even if it's just think about it, even if it's just hold it close to your heart, if it's an action that maybe you would take because of what I said, whatever it may be, I want that from you. Right? And so I feel like that's a justifiable request, right? I don't think that's too much, because I'm willing to do that for you, right? So when he talked to me, he said, Myhisha, you know what? I'm going to tell you. I feel like this. I feel like you were adding too many things at one time, right? You told me, I feel like if you just told me one thing to do versus this, and this, then when I get it, that one task, I can get that task completed. Then you can go on to the next task. I can get that and complete it, because I want to do what it takes for you to be happy. I want to be happy. So I will definitely do my best to complete the task, right? And I didn't know that was what I was doing.
Well, what happens I don't know a lot of men, but I know definitely to me, what happens is sometimes we feel like, I feel like rather, that when we're working on changing an area that may not be as well or as good to you, when we want to change that area, we want to grow in that area and develop in that area, let us work in that area. I feel like sometimes when we try to put, this on top of this on top of it, this on top of it, and what happens is I'm taking this in, I feel like, am I that wrong? Am I that wrong all the time? Where I got to change this, got to change this, got to change this, got to change this? Because you get to a place where you realize I'm never going to be right. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not good enough in any of this right here, F it.
Yeah.
Just flat out. And when you get to that place, you see, in my own life, I've given up on certain things where I know I shouldn't have given up. I had to go back and address. And I've also seen this in other men's life where they feel like, I can't make it anyway. I'm not good enough anyway. So why even try? And so I want to be very careful in how we talk to each other. Yes, because we do run different. The way we think, the way we go about things are different, right? But when we understand the way we go about things, and the way we address things, it's good to speak to us in a way in which we can solve our problems, right? And so I like things coming at me, hey, give me some time to work on this right here, then let's put that next thing in there, as we go. And we do the same thing on both sides, of course, because the goal is to grow and develop, as we continue to change, as we get older, of course we change, we're not the same 20, 21-year-old kids anymore, and with that being said, we've all changed, we've all grown, but also to develop in that and develop with each other to understand how we work together better, how we communicate better, how we go about things better is important. So that's something that we want to talk about today.
Yes. So for me, learning how to step back, add one task at a time. So if we're going to talk about being heard, that's just the only thing we're going to talk about concerning the things you can improve concerning me, right? And then once you feel like, and then we'll have the conversation. Charles, do you feel like, you're good with this? And Myhisha, do you feel like you're being heard, right? So when we get to that point, then I can go ahead to the next conflict that we have, and we can have a conversation about that.
And I'm not saying that we can't have things that we work on, at one time. Sometimes it gets too much, is all I'm saying. If a person ever gets to a place where they get overwhelmed or they feel like they can't address one situation because other situations are coming up, it's easy for a person to get into a place where they feel like they can't go forward because they don't have a chance to get nothing solved first. And that's really what I was wanting to say, because I do know certain things need to come up at certain times, especially if they're continuing to happen. I do understand that, but I want to make sure we kind of get the gist of it. Sometimes, nobody wants to be that trash can that you just throw everything at one time, because when you start doing that, once again, because we're not trash cans, it's easy to be overwhelmed. And so that's just giving it that thought process.
Yeah, I think so too. I get overwhelmed myself, and when I do, I come to you and I tell you that I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I want to give that opportunity back to you as well, so that's why I like the fact that you told me one thing at a time. Okay, that doesn't mean that I won't have another conflict with whatever it is that you do.
Right.
It just means that for me, because of the type of person I am, I'm going to search for the one that means the most to me, and I'm going to bring that conflict up, and we're going to work on that until that task is completed between the two of us. So I appreciate you talking about this with me. You talked, and that's another thing too. What we do is we like to talk to each other about it, and then if we had a conflict in front of our kids, we like to go back to our kids and ask for forgiveness for the parts that we played in our bad behavior, as far as maybe a word that was said that shouldn't have been said, maybe a tone that was wrong, or whatever it may be, because in my opinion, it's good for children to learn how to resolve conflict in a healthy way. And that doesn't mean that it's always perfect. It means that we make mistakes, we learn from them, we grow from them, hopefully, because we learned the lesson in the mistake, and then we don't repeat it.
I think it's good when you have conflicts in front of your children to go back and tell your children how you got back up on the conflict.
Yeah.
Because one thing in this world, especially in relationships, you're going to have conflict. And with that conflict, teaching them how you guys resolve that conflict. We've been married for some time now, and our kids get to watch us sometime. How to get up from a failure. How to go about coming back together and talking about what's going on and how to resolve it. It's important because they're going to need this one day in their lives also. And so we've been blessed enough to remember that over these last 25 years of marriage, and as we grow and develop in this, continue to help grow and develop them. And so when they come into their own marriages with their spouses, they're at a place where they're not starting from the bottom, even though it may be a new marriage, but they'll have some things that they can, some tools that they can work off of and utilize in their lives. So it'll be a blessing to them also.
Yes. So I appreciate you doing this and being transparent with us.
I appreciate you being transparent with me concerning this.
Yeah, because it was me and the girls that you were very transparent with, and I appreciate that. And now you're being transparent in front of the world, so I appreciate that too. The other thing that I wanted to express is the fact that you and I have been together since we were 19, and married for 25 years, but we've been together for 27 years, which means that both of us grew up together, basically, because we've gone through all of our young adult life as being basically married and having children, so being parents, and then now we have a grandchild and another one on the way. So we've gone through stages of life together, and a lot of these stages we kind of like quantum leaped in front of our peers. So I wanted to express out loud what goes on in a marriage, especially with people who have conflict or feel like they see the brighter side of things on social media or on their favorite show, that the couples get along so well, and they may not, because we didn't always. So what I wanted to do is just to express that no matter what a person is going through, there is someone else who's gone through it, and most likely there's someone that's been successful on the other side of it as well. and we go through it.
Yeah, we do. We do. I mean, we've been together for some time now, and a lot of these conflicts we're talking about are things we've seen. We've had somewhat, had to deal with it in some way, some form. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. And you may have some things that you also want to talk about. If you would like for us to discuss them on this vlog, email us. Email us at admin@harvestvillage.org. That's ADMIN at harvest, HARVEST, village, VILLAGE.org. Once we get them in, guys, we'll go through them. If it sounds good, we'll take it on this show. We'll speak about it and we email you back. And you know that we did address it on this show. So there'll be some way for you guys to be part of it as we discuss maybe your thought process and some of the conflicts that you guys have lived through.
Can I add something? Because some of these things aren't going to sound good.
Yeah, we understand that.
I think that will stand out to people if it sounds good. Yeah. So for me, I also want to tackle the things that don't sound so good because that's what our conflicts usually are.
That's right.
They don't sound so good. So we will be doing our best to tackle each one, right, as they come. And also give you insight on the ones that may be unique just to us.
That's right.
So we'll be transparent as best as possible. But more importantly, hopefully we give you encouragement to stick it out, figure it out, get better with each other, get better with yourself, and just love life as you're doing it. So blessings to you.
And blessings from me. And thank you for joining us today in Conflicts and Conversation.